All right, we're back for Sportsmanlike Conduct College Football Picks, Week 4. Tony Moscato, coming off a rough. What happened?
Rough week.
What happened last week?
Rough week. I was so confident.
4-1.
Yeah, confident going in. Just did not come up. My guys did not perform. Maryland didn't cover, which I thought was a big game for me. The one push I had was the Michigan State Notre Dame game.
It took a miracle late fake field goal for Tony to even get a push.
I had the game called right, but I thought Michigan State was going to handle that game. But anyways, it's a brand new week. Moving on. I'm still forward, and I'm 3-6 now in the season. I got to truck forward, move forward, get back to 500. Maybe this is my week. Hopefully it is. We're going to start off with Miami -3 at Pitt. I'd like Miami to win this game just by at least 14. They've handled Pitt over the past years, pretty much always covering their spread, and they're every meeting they've met since '98. They've covered. So
they haven't played them since '03.
Well, since they left the Big East.
It's a long time. Pitt's good. Pitt's come a long way.
I know, but I still like Miami. I still like Ja'Cory Harris a whole bunch. I think Ja'Cory Harris and that speed. Pittsburgh's like that. I think they're that traditional Dave Wannstedt, heavy in the trenches
running team.
They're a running team. They're too slow on the offensive line to stop that defensive front four from getting into the backfield. I just there's too much speed on Miami for Pitt to hang, even at home.
That's the Thursday night game, right?
That is the Thursday night game. That is
not
the first
like
game.
the way Pitt's QB has looked so far this season.
No,
I think quarterback could be a weakness for them.
Yes,
I
like the pick.
If Pitt's going to hang with Miami, I don't think Pitt did not impress me against UNH. So
yeah, Pitt hasn't impressed me at all this season. I mean, I think Dave Wannstedt's on the hot seat at the end of the season.
Well, they're predicted to win the Big East coming into the season, so they gotta after Miami once that Big East conference season starts, they gotta start rolling up there.
Yeah, they better.
All right, next.
Next, Michigan at Bowling Green at Michigan. Michigan -25.
You want Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan -25. I think Denard Robinson's just going to run over Bowling Green. It's just a tough matchup for Bowling Green. And Denard Robinson had an off day. On Saturday, but still accumulated for over 300 or over 320 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns.
I don't know that he had that much of an off day.
Yeah. Well,
UMass. UMass is pretty good, dude. I'm telling you, UMass is good. That's not as bad of a result as it looks like.
I honestly, I would think UMass would beat Bowling Green heads up, and Michigan didn't cover against UMass, but they're definitely going to cover against Bowling Green. I mean, at the big house, Bowling Green's going to come in there and they're just going to get run over.
All right.
Especially. Given the way they let UMass come back, that Michigan defense, if they want to make themselves a contender, that defense has to whoop up on these smaller teams. And they didn't do that against UMass. They better come out and do that against Bowling Green. Put a big fat goose egg up there. Denard Robinson's going to put 21 points on the board in the first quarter, easy.
All right. Next.
Air Force is another one I like. I really like Air Force at Wyoming. I watched a little bit of that Boise State-Wyoming game last week, and Wyoming's just terrible. And Air Force played... Air
Force is good.
Yeah, Air Force is very good. That triple option, they run the ball amazingly well. They put up a fight against Oklahoma. That's one of those games I lost. I thought Oklahoma... That's one of my losses last week. I thought Oklahoma was going to cover that game. They did not. So I'm going to take Air Force this week at Wyoming to cover their -11. I think Wyoming is that bad, and Air Force has won the past 4 meetings. So
it's a good pick. Wyoming. I don't know if that was more Wyoming being bad or Boise State being good last week, but it definitely didn't look good for Wyoming.
Yeah,
either way.
Either way you look at it, I thought, Kellen Moore kind of had his way, but the front four for Wyoming they were slow. they look sluggish. Like
They look small and slow.
Yeah, like undersized, and I mean, and yeah, you know, they're going against an Air Force team with that triple option, who's I don't know, way too much speed on the outside on the perimeter.
It's a very good
for Wyoming to even come near.
Okay.
Next, Florida, Kentucky. I hate Florida, despise Florida. I think Brantley is overrated. I think he's definitely shown that in the first couple weeks. But I don't think Kentucky has enough to stop Florida at Florida. I think you're going to see an ugly first half again. But I think in the second half, they pull away and they cover the 13.5. They win by 17. I think it's going to be just like last week with the Tennessee game. You know,
couple late plays could sway whether they cover or not.
Exactly.
If they make some mistakes in the end.
You know, and hopefully, you know, like this is the kind of game that you know, you're Florida, you got Kentucky coming in. You know, you've had an off couple weeks. You've won games, but you've won them ugly. Got to refine some things. If you're Urban Meyer, you had a little distraction this week with the off-field issues with Rainey, but you know, if you're Florida, you gotta defend your home turf, and you can't let Kentucky come in here and.
I don't think anyone thinks that the Gators have hit on all cylinders yet. So when that happens, they're bound to cover, right? I think
they're bound to. Right? I mean, if one of us keeps playing him every week, I mean, someone will eventually hit. And my last pick, Oregon at Arizona State. I know Arizona State's a good team. I just think Oregon's offense is that dynamic with LaMichael James, and then they've got that other true freshman running back.
You know what their cumulative score is this season, right?
What?
I believe it's 189-14.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got to take them to cover this.
189-14, 69-0, 72-0, and I think they beat Tennessee 48-14.
Yeah, they did beat Tennessee 48. No, 48. Was it 48-14?
47, something like that.
Yeah.
An unbelievable amount of points that they've put
48-13.
48-13. So that's 100 and
2 blanks. 72-0, 48-13.
189-13. Oregon has outscored their opponents by this year.
Yeah. And you know, they beat Arizona State last year at home 44-21 and covered that 21-point spread that they had last year.
But I really don't think Oregon's played anyone even halfway decent.
No. And Oregon has also won the last 5 meetings. So,
against Arizona State.
So
included quite convincingly last year.
Yeah. So I like those are my 5 picks, my 5 locks for college football. Don't take them to the bank yet. Let me get on a roll. I'll let you know.
I'll let you know, he says.
I'll let you know. Let me get some momentum first.
Run them back real quick.
All right, I'm going to run them back for you. I got Miami -3 at Pittsburgh. I think that's a solid. Michigan covering 25 at home against Bowling Green. Air Force covering 11 at Wyoming. Florida +13 -13. Sorry, covering 13. Yeah, 13.5 at home against Kentucky. And then Oregon -10.5 at Arizona State, covering at Arizona State.
There you have it. This is momentum week.
Yes, it is. I'm switching it around. 4-1 this week is what I'm looking for.
Right.
5-0 is what I want. 4-1 is what I'm looking for.
You'll settle for 4-1 after last week. I'll settle for 1-4 after last week.
I'll settle for 3-2. I'll take 3-2 all day.
All right, there we have it. Nice.